Welcome to Into the Pod again. I don't think I'm just gonna keep putting the same thumbnail up every time because this is such a beautiful area, I believe, and I'm not gonna waste it. I'm gonna just talk away right here, just like this. My very first job out of high school was with the Department of Agriculture. For those of y'all who don't know, that is not just meat. It is everything farm related that the government does, pretty much. And this facility was 1,400 acres of mostly peaches and pecan orchards. I loved it out there, but I was only able to be an intermittent employee, and I never did get a full-time position, so I worked there about 6 months at a time. Then I did something else another 6 months for several years, and I could say it was an excellent experience. I learned a lot. My first year out there, I was a bioscience aide and would assist the technicians and the scientists in projects and cleaning up and stuff like that. Me and a buddy had to spend 3 days dumping all these, like there were thousands of vials of acid, and we had to dump them in a bucket. Once the bucket got to a certain point, we had to mix in some sort of lime solution to basically neutralize the pH levels. And then we'd go spread them around various trees. And we told everyone we spent 3 days dropping acid for the government, which was not a lie. It just brought a lot of questions. I learned to run a bunch of pieces of equipment out there for my first time. It was, sometimes I'd have to get in a big man lift. Not like the scissor lifts that you might see around buildings, but you know, these are big boom lifts capable of, well, these ones only went 45 to 60 feet. I had to cut some dead limbs off. I was up in one of these lifts one day. I cut this limb, and the wind, it was kind of a windy day, kind of a shitty decision to ask a 20-year-old to do this without experience, but I got it done without dying. I only almost died. I had cut this limb probably, it was probably about 2 feet thick in diameter. The wind pushed it weird and it was barely hanging on. I brought that lift down as quickly as I could. They're very slow moving pieces of equipment. And about 3 seconds after I got down, that tree just fell right where I was. It would have knocked me out the basket or knocked me in the head, or good chance it would have killed me if it fell on me. Did that stop me from keep going? Hell no. I got shit to do. But it was a pretty scary experience. Maybe not scary enough. I didn't shit my pants, but ran a lot of backhoes, front end loaders. You know, every harvesting season for the pecans, which is generally October through December, and that time is when we're harvesting. Um, you know, as the harvester's coming through, beforehand we gotta help get any of the limbs out of the harvester zone, and we threw them on this wagon and we dump them. You know, there'd be giant piles of limbs that eventually were gonna get burned. There was one pile, probably about 20-30 feet wide, had some bamboo in it. I don't know why there was stalks of bamboo out there, but if you're lighting whole pieces of bamboo on fire, it sounds like a war zone. Like, the air inside finally releases and it's just pop, pop, pop. It sounded like war was happening. And with where this pile was, people from the interstate could see the fire, and eventually the fire department came out there, and there I was with just a bulldozer, a can of diesel fuel, and a torch, just standing there with the diesel fuel and the torch as they was driving up. Everything was okay. It was people not minding their own business, but hey, they had good intentions. And we had a burn permit, but it was pretty wild. And I enjoyed every minute. After I left USDA, I went to school up in Nashville to be a heavy equipment mechanic. I don't even care to work on the stuff. I just love operating it, and I knew that would help me become a better operator. You know, just running equipment, that's just something I love doing. That's what I've chosen for most of my jobs. Sometimes they let absolute morons stick around dangerous areas way longer than they should, and I don't really like that, but hey, that's the world we live in. The last 3.5 years I had spent working in a rock quarry. I'm a little surprised a lot of people do not really realize how important a rock quarry is. Every single road you drive on, it started in a rock quarry. All the asphalt, at least around here, it's granite. When I tell people I worked in a rock quarry for granite, they started asking about countertops. Yeah, I have not seen the first granite countertop out there. Takes different grade of granite than what's laid down on the road. Same rock, but you know, maybe there's a different iron content or something about the soil has changed the color. I don't really know too much about that side of it. But at this rock quarry, there was probably 10 miles worth of belts moving rock and dirt around. Like it starts in a pit that they've been blasting out since the 50s, I believe. Go from blasting it out to scooping it in 100-ton haul trucks, taking it to one crusher, being the gyratory crusher, which is just a big metal pin inside of a cylinder that's beaten side to side to crush the rock from boulder size down to like the size of basketballs or footballs kind of thing. Then from there it goes to a couple other crushers. They're both 7-foot crushers that I don't remember what exactly they're called, but it's a line of cylinders with the proper tightness to crush it down to a specific size. All of that happens down in the pit. Then you got one belt that just by itself is pretty close to a half mile. Come up and shoot it to the top side for the secondary plant to crush it into various sizes that will get you to like the size they use for asphalt. Anything from the finest like grain of sand size all the way to about yay big. Is what comes out of the secondary plant. When I first started out there, my main job was to run load out. We would the secondary plant will put all the different sizes of rock into several different piles and from there all those piles are sitting on top of gates that are it's over a tunnel, and from there I would be operating a computer in the control tower to operate those gates and those belts and bring the rock up, because at that point the rock has to be washed off. So running the loadout tower would bring the rock from the secondary plant up a couple of belts, because we loaded both rail cars and semi trucks. It'd come down, they're called screens. They're basically giant boxes that shake, and there's all this water pushing any of the dirt and washing that down a line to be repurposed for other things. And all the quarries are different, but this one, when you're loading the rail cars, you have to eyeball what 100 tons look like. I got pretty good at it, but still bullshit. I had a lot of wild times because they hired so many folks that just didn't do nothing. I don't want to talk too much about that right now, because I'm not over there anymore anyways. I'll get into some of the stories of some of the foolish decisions I just watched happen later on. And every now and then I made a foolish decision. I mean, we're human. We all gonna make mistakes. But come on, dude. Admit your mistakes. Don't keep thinking that was a good idea. There's this real crazy dude. I'm not gonna mention any names, but my dad has worked out there for many years as an electrician, and this dude who was there before I was, he liked messing with my dad, and one day, we got called into a meeting as soon as we got there. The assistant plant manager was out there, and he said, I don't want to know who did it. I just don't want it to happen again. But somebody put this can of spray foam up under Pete's dad's tire. But I just don't want to tell y'all my dad's name, because, well, he may hear this one day and get mad at me for mentioning him online. But this dude put a can of spray foam under my dad's tire, and my dad didn't check that shit. He just drove off, and it exploded and completely plastered this golf cart that was nearby. Like, I seen the picture, that thing was covered. When the assistant plant manager said, I don't want to know who did this, I just don't want it to happen again, this dude raised his hand and said, yes sir, I did it. I noticed he didn't have a wheel chalk down, so I put him one down. Dude, what the fuck? Why would you admit to that? And again, why would you admit to that? That shit was way too funny. To just watch go down. This same dude, like, this company is very big on safety. Like, if you're up above 10 feet, you better be wearing a harness and it better be clipped to something. I get it. I hate a harness. They suck. They squeeze the boys. I hate them. But I get the safety aspect of it. And I think the whole rule book was written because of this dude. I've seen him, one of the belts got overloaded within my first couple weeks out there. When a belt gets overloaded, you got to get up there either with a high pressured hose or sometimes shovels, depending on what size the rock is, and lighten the load so the belt can pull off. This dude is up there, no harness, about 30 feet in the air. He just wraps his legs around the side of the belt and gets on it with the water hose. You had the foreman just looking up, watching this crazy ass dude do his crazy ass shit. I watched for a while. I was like, ain't no one gonna do nothing. I'm too new. I ain't gonna do nothing either. Eventually I went from running loadout to being a loader operator. And I mean, these loaders are picking up 20 tons of material with each bucket. Plus AC and heat. They kept that shit working. I feel like I got a lot done, but I was constantly butting heads with folks that just would not do nothing but point fingers, and dude, that sickens me. We all out here busting ass, and you're just gonna sit down and do nothing and talk about what we did wrong? You ain't a supervisor. You ain't doing your job. You sure ain't giving me good advice on how to do my job. Shut the fuck up. due to some of the people they kept around, I had to get out of there. So I left. I started working on this podcast here and there. Still don't know what I'm doing. Don't know nothing about editing. I just keep myself busy, and I'll tell y'all what's up when I get the chance. If one of y'all knows something about editing, hook me up, dog. Now, when I was working in the rock quarry, I worked night shift for 3.5 years. Usually 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. Wasn't always easy, but dude, there's way less assholes out there at night, usually. And I can appreciate that. But two things I love: playing pool and doing karaoke. And I was still married at this time, and so I never went to the bar ever, except for there was just a couple of times when I just happened to get off pretty early on a Friday that something catastrophic went down, so was just able to get off early. And one night, it's been a long time since I've been at any sort of bar scene, so I didn't know where karaoke was anymore. So I rode down Riverside Drive in Macon, and after looking up who got it tonight, and there's this place called the Back Porch Lounge, which is it's part of a hotel, and it's not even open anymore. Don't know what happened. But when I went there, this is the second time I've ever gone to this place, but the first time was 7-8 years before this. So I go there. One day, they're searching everybody at the door, so somebody got shot before, I'm sure. And I go in there, and I'm the only white guy there. That don't bother me none. I don't care about that. I came to enjoy myself, pool and karaoke, but I couldn't get on the pool table. Nobody would fuck with me. Everybody just, what's this white boy doing in here? I don't know this motherfucker. For real, nobody. I couldn't get in on no pool games. This how y'all felt 60 years ago? I'm just kidding, but whatever. I chatted with this old couple at the bar, and eventually my turn came to sing karaoke. I did Drift Away by Dobie Gray. You know that song? Give me the B-boys and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Well, I put some soul on that thing. I put some soul in it. And afterwards, this big ass dude came up to me and said, "Hey, sup, dog? My name's Scoot. You sounded like a real ass N-word up there. You cool by me?" I was like, hell yeah. I felt like the end of a Disney movie when I finally got accepted by everybody. It was beautiful. But, I just think it's a funny story to tell. Because, I guess coming in there wearing work clothes, I probably looked like the kind of guy that wouldn't get along with the folks there, but, dude, come on. That time has passed, people acting that way. I find it to be pretty despicable. I don't see why people can't get along regardless of differences. Like, if I came in wearing a cop's uniform, maybe I can understand, because well, it just probably wouldn't have been too welcome at this particular establishment. But I was wearing high vis from doing high vis shit. I just work hard and want to come enjoy myself. That's all. That's all. Especially since the divorce, I'll be going out by myself a lot, meet new people that like the same things I like. So it was just me, and I wasn't getting scared off till I did what I came to do, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm probably gonna go play pool, sing some karaoke tonight. I just finished losing a contest that happened over the past 6 weeks, but I enjoyed myself, even though, you know, that bar's vibes just ain't quite it for me. But you know, I think when you really just bust your ass at work, you're entitled to go enjoy yourself every now and then. So I do that, and I'm gonna keep doing that when I feel the need. Four years ago, from July 2nd, you know, one of my best friends got murdered. And he was a karaoke DJ on the side when he wasn't working at BMW. And that's who really got me going to the bars. And for a while was the only person that could get me out every once in a while. But we had a lot of wild adventures over the years. The first bar I went to was called Friends Bar and Grill. It was in the middle of an industrial section in town. And well, it got shut down in 2016 after they got caught illegal gambling for the 4th time or something like that. I don't know. This is just what I heard, rumor mill. But 1, hey, that's pretty cool. And 2, dude, what the hell? Me and my buddy would go over here, shoot pool, sing karaoke pretty often. I don't know if y'all ever had a Desperado before. It's a kind of beer. It's like Mexican imported beer, and they're distilled in tequila barrels, so there's like a little taste of tequila in it. Pretty cool. I got one night and was like, hey Joe, dude, check this out. I got a Desperado. He was like, oh hell yeah, could I have a swig of it? Hell yeah, dude. And I handed him the bottle, and when he went to turn it up to take a drink, I don't know why. I don't know what I really don't remember what I was thinking, but I grabbed the bottle, and he said it like hurt his tooth, and he like covered his mouth and ran over and kicked a trash can. And it's like a volcano of beer bottles erupted out of this trash can. And all these people rushed over. Hey, what's going on? Oh shit, Joe, we thought you were gonna kick his ass. And like, nah, he said, nah, dude, that shit just hurt like fuck. But dude, it was, nothing funny was said really, but just watching this man cover his mouth, humming in pain, and kicking a trash can, and somehow the way he kicked it, a volcano of beer bottles erupted, and that shit just... That scene plays in my mind from time to time. It was a good time. Well, I think that's all for today. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, follow, you know, all that junk. Help me grow this thing. And y'all have a good one.